Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. This is Austin Linney here. I have the extreme honor of having my friend Penny here. How are you doing, Penny?
I'm good, Austin. How are you?
I'm good. See, here's the deal, Penny. It's your first podcast. You're a little nervous, but your accent is so amazing that it doesn't even matter.
Oh, that's fine. So it doesn't matter what I say, as long as I just keep talking. Okay.
So what I like to do, Penny, we're going to ease you into it. The reason I wanted to have you on is because you inspire me every day, because you've made huge shifts in your life. But what I like to do with my guest is you start your story where you want to and kind of tell who you are and where you live, and we'll go from there. Okay.
So, yes, I'm Penny. Not my real name. Fun fact for you. Penny, live in the UK, in England. I live in the northeast of England. I've got 2 children, I'm married, and I work in the golf industry. My husband's a professional golfer, own a golf shop, and I work in a golf club where he works. So really just been on this mad quest to better myself over it's been a year now, that started off really for selfishly aesthetics. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to get a bit fitter, but has turned into something much, much more deeper than that. I've had a year of personal development, uncovered some things that I probably weren't at the surface before. And that's where I'm at now. It's been a crazy year anyway, with what we've been faced with COVID and everything like that. We've now had to work from home. Like, running a golf club from home is strange. Schooling the kids and everything else that goes with it. So but you know what, we're having fun.
So this is the reason that I brought you on, because there's a million people that can relate to this scenario. But what I want to start is kind of the genesis of what got you started with this transformation, or this journey to changing parts of your life. Like, were you just fed up with what was going on, or were you just feeling like you weren't fulfilled?
Fed up, really. Ultimately, it was a cycle that I was just sick of going through the whole time. As I say, when I've dug a bit deeper, I've always struggled with my image, my weight, but would blame it on other things. So I've had 2 children. I'd say, I've had 2 kids. It's fine. I'd put things in the way, my own hurdles in the way. So I used to work full time. I used to have a really quite stressful job. And I used to say, I haven't got time to go to the gym or do anything for myself, as in have my own time. And I used to obviously play golf, and I used to think that was enough for me, that was enough movement for me a week. But I could be playing twice a month if I was lucky, because obviously when I'm not at work, I've got the children at home and all the rest of it. So it started off for aesthetics. I wanted to lose the weight and all the rest of it, but I've kind of pulled out of it what my problem was, and that was my self-image issues. And what I used to do with that is I use humour a lot to sort of as a defence. So if I would wear something and I knew I felt a bit uncomfortable in it, but I had it on anyway, I'd make a joke about it before you got there to it, even though you were never going to make a joke about it. It was just a kind of defense mechanism. So this cycle was just what I wanted to get out of. I did the slimming clubs. I did a running club at one point, hated running, but did the running club because I thought that would work once a week. Done all of that, and then been up and down, up and down, up and down. And I thought enough was enough. I need to do something and understand that this isn't a quick fix. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's something that I need to instill. I need to do it properly, and it's going to take time. And that's really what this last year has been about for me. It's, weight-wise, I haven't lost a lot of weight, but I'm so much fitter and I'm so much stronger for it. So I'm glad I started it.
Yeah, and I think ultimately one of the bigger issues with people, and a lot of my coaching clients have this, is there's an extreme yo-yo effect with working out, or like, I won't call anybody out by name, but there's a lot of people I know that have accumulated a lot of workout equipment. Like, this is the one that I need to get because it's going to do this to me and everything. And what they ultimately need to understand, it's not the workout equipment. It's not what you're wearing. It's not any of those things. You are the program. You have to reprogram yourself. It doesn't matter what program you pick.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. And they're some of the things that used to stop me from doing it as well. So like you say, I would never go to a gym because I didn't have the right clothes on, or I wasn't fit enough already to go and use the equipment. And actually we started doing this at home with some secondhand weights, some that we got off family members. And we've just kind of gathered things along the way, but we've still not got a full range of equipment. We've got some resistance bands, and I've got some cordless jump ropes, and that's all it takes, really.
Well, ultimately, one of the things I live by is that you're not creating, like, I said this to somebody the other day, I'm not in PE anymore. I'm not trying to bench a certain weight, right? But what I'm trying to cultivate is a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right. And so my joke with everybody is, you're looking for the program. I'll give you this. If you walked for 20 minutes a day for 60 days straight and you listened to a book that was positive in those 20 minutes, I guarantee you'd be a better person for it. Mm-hmm. But everybody wants to put up complications and roadblocks on why they can't, the clothes, this, I don't have a gym, all this thing. Like, during COVID, I didn't see a gym for like 9 months, and I was the fittest I ever was, with bands and push-ups and some weights, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you made this shift a year ago, what did you find? Was it a community? Was it somebody? Was it something that switched in your head? What kind of made the shift for you?
It started off as somebody who was a mutual friend of us both. Our friend Annie reached out to me through social media and struck up this friendship. It's like, the friend I never knew I needed in life, and just encouraged me and said that I could do it. I mean, I share a lot on social media anyway. I mean, you see the space, Austin, that I work out in. It's our living room. It's not a lot of space. And because of that, the community then came along with it. And I live in the UK, and our friend Annie and yourself obviously live in America. So when I decided that like enough was enough, I was going to dive in, I dived into everything. So she hosts a weekly check-in call every week, and I'll stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning just to be on that call, because I knew that was something that I needed to do to keep myself accountable every week. So even if I'd have had a bad weekend, that Monday night was my no, I will stay up. I'm going to listen to what they have to say, and that'll reset me off for the rest of the week. So what started off, I would say, as a person has turned into a massive, massive community of people and friends who I've never met in real life, who I've probably shared with more than I have even my in real life friends, if you like, and know more deeper things about me than I didn't know I needed. I didn't know I needed them people until they were there. And that was all really because of
and one of the things I tell everybody is sometimes you have to bank on somebody else's belief in you till you gain enough belief for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so you start 1 a.m. You're crazy. So you start doing those things. And I know at first, I would imagine the first couple of weeks, because what I see, which I love, I see your kids like working out with you. Like, I would imagine that it's changed the entire family dynamic, right? Of you. And it's not like you were telling them like, hey, do this, but watching you, bet on yourself and make that has changed the dynamic of more things than just the physical.
It has, but that's taken time as well. So at first it was really a case of having to be selfish about it. So the story goes that I decided to sign up for this opportunity, and I asked my husband to get me it as part of my Christmas present. He said, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I was in such a headspace where I was so lost with myself. I said, this is what I want you to buy. And even he then was like, well, are you sure you're going to use it? And I said, just you watch me. And that alone was enough for me to say, right, I'll show you. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And I committed to like the longest program that the platform had to offer. And it was a 100-day workout program. And I was like, right, this is it. I need to do it. I need to prove him wrong. and I will. And I'm going to do it. So again, plugged in, like did all the things. Had this group of cheerleaders on the side who were like encouraging me on. And over time, I'd be saying to the kids, right, I'm going to work out in the next 20 minutes. So you've got 20 minutes to watch whatever you want to watch on the TV. Then I'm doing my workout. Okay, is everyone okay with that? And I'd be like, oh, okay. And that's how it used to be. Whereas now, they started joining in and all the rest of it. Now it's, oh, Mum, do you need me to get your water bottle for you? Or, Mum, do you need weights for today's workout? Or is it yoga today, Mum? Can I join in? And which is, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. But what I'm proud of the most is that they've been able to see that if you dig in with something, that it's worth doing. And if you stick with it, it's worth doing. And just how committed I've been to it. It's not just a flash in the pan thing anymore. It's not like I'm going to the slimming club every week to get weighed, or, I'm going out once a week to go for a run with the club and then that's it. And that finishes after about 6 sessions. Like I've stuck to this for 365 days of the year with, some rest in between, don't get me wrong. But no, I'm proud of that. And now, the husband who said, you better make this work, is now joining in with me. So that's even better.
I love it. And so I'm curious, what made you, you could have easily picked a 20-day program. What made you go for the hardest one right out of the gate? Because this is something I talk about with people all the time. So I'm curious, was it your pure, like, which is totally fine. I love it. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you. Because like you knew, but like ultimately I think you knew the shift had to be something significant.
Yes. And as I said, I've dabbled in these kind of things before and not seen them through. So I kind of went in knowing what was expected. There's 3-week programs. There's ones where you can do it 3 times a week, 4 times a week. But I knew for me that would tail off. I needed something that would be instilled in me. So like, personal development was something new to me. And I started that last year, and I read things about like making 90 days. So many days is
21 days is a new habit. 90 days is a lifestyle.
Yes. So I was like, right, 100 days. Let's try and do it for 100 days. And in them 100, I think I did have 2 days off because we went to Paris. We took the kids to Disneyland Paris, and we walked something like 17,000 steps a day. So I was like, right, that can replace that workout for today. I'm not going to work out in the hotel room. But ultimately I wanted something because I knew I had to make, and I wanted to make it a lifestyle, not a flash in the pan. This is going to ease off after 2 weeks. I wanted this to be concrete and part of my daily routine.
Well, what do you tell yourself? This is the hardest thing I do for people. What do you tell yourself when you have a bad day or you miss the workout? What's the mindset shift these days that's different from previous?
I think it's just being able to forgive myself a bit more. Not being too hard on myself. Goes back to the self-image thing. There's a mean girl inside of us all, and I think, in all honesty, she was a bitch. Like, she still can be, but you've just got to dumb her down sometimes. And I would say I still do look in the mirror, and you pick yourself to pieces. But one of the big things was, and I think it came from someone in the community, said you would never say those things to your friend. So whatever you would think about yourself, you would never say to your friend. And I think that's where the coaching element came in, because I've now become a coach for this platform. And it's, if someone said to me, oh, I've missed my workout, I've been at work all day, the kids were a nightmare, we're having to homeschool, like I say, we've had COVID, people have got a lot on the plates anyway. And you don't need that added pressure from yourself on top of that. Like, just cut yourself some slack, it's fine. if you miss a day, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the journey. And this was the mindset that I had to get into, because I would have ended it before. I would have stopped and said, right, that's it. I've missed a day. I've been to Paris. I've walked 17,000 steps, but I've missed a workout. Right, that's it. I've failed. Well, no, actually, you've just done 65 days previous to that every single day. I've never done anything like that before. So it's learning yourself to just be a bit kinder and know that it is a process. And I'm learning that even now. I'm still have to remind myself that, but it is a process. And like I say, it's something that I've instilled now that I know is part of my daily lifestyle. And if I miss a day, it's fine. It's okay.
And I know just from my own personal experience, like you said in the beginning, like weight loss in essence hasn't been, significant in the first year, but just talk about like mentally, like just where the process of working out or eating healthy or just being around that community, talk about what that's done, for yourself.
Yeah. So it kind of started after a couple of months of being in the community, I would say. We had a couple of rough years in terms of our business. My mum wasn't well. She had some health problems. And again, all excuses why I couldn't do the thing, whatever the thing was at the time. And so I remember having a conversation with my coach, and I'd said, oh, look, we're just having a really hard time. And she just said to me straight away, everyone's got their own shit going on. Everyone's got problems. And I think it was that week I went on a coach call, and another girl came on to speak, and she said, she talked about how she had a spine issue, and one day she woke up and she couldn't feel her legs. And I was just sat there thinking, like, my life's not that bad. Like, yeah, there's things going on, but I can get up every day. I can move my body. I can, do, insert the thing. I can go and play golf. I can play with the kids. I just wanted to be a bit fitter. And so the mental aspect of it came after I realised that, I never knew I needed movement as badly as I did until I started doing it, and I started doing it consistently. Like I said at the beginning, I always thought my golf was enough. I always thought golf, being out on a course, I mean, it still is, but being out on a golf course was my time to clean my head. I'd be out there for like 4 hours, and I still love doing that. But when that was taken away from me, especially during the start of COVID, how much I needed the movement in the house to be my time, even if the kids are dancing on the sofa behind me. Like, when you're zoned into a workout and you're giving it your all, sweat therapy is real. It is a real thing. You can get so much stress and anger, anxiety out just by doing something for 20 minutes and solid and giving it your all. So, I didn't think I needed it as much as I did, but yeah, mentally, it's been a game changer, and I don't think I can quite explain it well enough.
Well, I think I'm not like by any means am I like you're talking to the social butterfly of the year. I won't be out, baby. I need to be on planes. I need to be visiting people. But I can also look from a perspective lens that COVID has, you have two choices. It took away the distractions that we placed in front of us. And for once in our life, we have to look directly in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And there are people in my life, you're one of them, other people, are flourishing in who they are as a person. It's not that they're wearing 5 sizes difference. It's not, look, here's a perfect example. You see my weight loss, you've seen a post of me. You know what people say to me? A lot of people that have lost the weight too, they don't say, man, your stomach looks good. They say, you look happy. We can see it on your face.
Yeah.
Because what people don't understand is you have to change from the inside outside, not the outside inside.
Yeah.
And so the compounding effect of the gift, and this is, I don't want to get you emotional, but the gift that you've given your children to understand that health and fitness can do just as much for you as other things. And now that's a part of who they are, and they're seeing it, whether or not small, big, or you notice how big that shift is. You gave a gift to yourself, but more importantly, you gave a gift to your family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's the byproduct of you being the best version of yourself.
And that's ultimately all we want to be, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just be the best version of what we can be. And you're totally right. It started off as a weight loss thing. It's just, it's so much more than that now.
Mm-hmm.
So much more. I don't think I could ever quantify how much it's changed everything in ways. I remember saying to Stu, we've always wanted time to slow down. We would work full time. We'd be like ships that pass, at points he would go into work, I would come home, and, just bang, 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 our days would go like that. And then when COVID happened, it was we were gifted an opportunity, although horrendous, the circumstance, but just time to slow down. Stuart's never been home as much as he has done in this last year. And that was hard for him. It was really hard for him at first. The guy works ridiculous hours, 6 days a week, and suddenly it was golf courses are closed, his business is closed, you have to stay at home, and we've got the kids all day, every day, these four walls, this is it. We've never done that. We've never had that. So, which is why we, as a family, we always really valued our holidays, time away. If we got a day together, we would always try and go somewhere because we just valued our time. Our time was our thing. And then all of a sudden we had this time and we didn't know quite what to do with it. So for the first week, for Stuart, my husband, it was a novelty. It was great. The second week, I could see him struggling. He was just didn't know what to do with himself. And I was like, why don't you just try this? This is weightlifting program. Why don't you just try do that? Half an hour a day? Just try it. And he loved it again. But mental shift, the flick of the switch was, yeah, I'm going to do that. And for a while, those home workouts were the only structure that we had in our day. It was all we had.
No, and somebody asked me yesterday, because he was talking about doing 75 hard, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a whole nother story. Apparently, I've inspired.
Don't know how you do that.
Well, apparently, I inspired 10 people are doing it right now because of me. I didn't even know. But
influencer.
Yeah. So he asked me. He said, how do you do it every day? And I said, listen, I got laid off and separated from my wife in the span of 3 weeks. My workouts, those daily habits, was all I had. And I clinged on to that crap like it was, and it literally got me through the hardest time in my life because I could count on my center being working out and eating well, right? And I think that's where people get their perspective of, well, going in the gym and I need to give it an hour and a half and I need to get after it. Dude, go in for 20 minutes, move your body. That's all you need. You're just shaking some things loose and stop worrying about what it looks like and just go create the habit.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how you do that.
So what I want to, you hit the word, because this is the next place I want to go. I see you posting on social media. I'm sure when you first started, what gave, because a lot of people have issues with this, what gave you the courage to kind of, you're doing some joke stuff and from time to time you're hilarious. What kind of gave you the courage and what would you tell all those people out there that are struggling? They don't want to post that story or they don't want to post that thing because they're worried about what somebody might say.
Yeah, it is a big thing for some people and I get that. Look, my social media started off as a golf account. The idea behind it was that I wanted something separate from my real personal account to try and inspire more women to play golf. That was how it started out. And I just kind of documented my job in the shop, what I was doing, helping with our juniors, doing different things, playing different places. And then I started these home workouts. And the reason I started posting them online was, in essence, to hold myself accountable. So I said out loud on January 1st, I'm going to do this 100-day program and I'm going to post it every day. Now, again, the stubborn cow inside me was like, they like followers, whoever, are going to expect me to fail. Like, they're going to watch me do this for a week and they're going to be like, oh, look, she's tailed off. And in my head, I was like, no, like I was with my husband, no, I'm going to finish this and you're all going to watch me do it, was what was in my head. But that in itself was enough for me on the days where I didn't want to do it. It was like, well, even if people didn't care that I was doing it, I was thinking, no, they're expecting me to show up. They want to see day 74 of this 100-day plan. They probably didn't. Like, I don't, but I think I got past myself because I was thinking, no, I'm going to show you that it can be done, and I'll be the person to show you, because, I'm not. I was joking about influencers there. I'm not influencing people. If I was truly influencing people, all my friends and all my family would all be golfers. They'd all be lined up and doing home workouts. Like, I'm not influencing anybody. What I wanted to do, and what I want to do all along, even if it's golf or home workouts, is to show you that it can be done. And it's not scary. And, look at the space that I do it in. I do it in my living room. It's, don't put the barriers in the way. And I guess, I post some silly stuff from time to time because that's just what I do.
No, you have to. And ultimately, as I go farther down the rabbit hole and you talk to big marketers and you talk to, people building my website and all these things, there's a lot of things that they suggest to me that I refuse to fucking do because it's not in line with who I am. And it's very simple to get on Facebook or Clubhouse, which I have 3 calls today on Clubhouse, and hear from these guys, create this email, and then you can generate this. And I think to myself, in theory, that sounds great, but it violates every part of who I am. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to do it. I'm sorry. And you know what? Look, I know for a fucking fact I'm leaving a ton of money on the table with my story and everything. But if I did it and I made money that way, then I wouldn't feel good about myself. And so one of my favorite quotes is, it's not so much how much money you make, it's how you make your money. Gary V. And so I want to make sure that the way I am operating is aligned with who I am. And that's the same way my social media is. Yeah. And it's probably not professional to post a video of me in Daisy Duke shorts and a wife beater with a wig on.
Oh, but those are my favorite.
He needs to make a comeback. It's been a while since Billy Bob's come out. But I tell you right now, the fact that I can do that and be okay with it, or me dancing to Grease, makes me feel so much better because I'm not hiding who I am, right? It's just me. And so as you continue to go down, like, if you had any advice to anybody, 1 or 2 things. What is easier about posting the story you believe in, and what's harder than you thought? Like, if you had to say what's easier than worrying about what you're posting?
It's easy to be your authentic self if you continue to show up as you are. And by that, what I mean is, don't pretend to be someone that you're not. I don't think I do. I'm pretty, on the table. However, the hard bit is showing the tough days or the hard days, because we all have them. We all have the days where we don't want to get up. I spoke about it a couple of times over the winter in England. We have SAD syndrome. Me and Stuart are as bad as each other. We're terrible when it's dark mornings, dark nights. Our motivation just goes down. And the problem with that is we don't encourage each other. And I really tried to show up a bit more in the winter this year. But it's harder to show the tough days, because for me, and I don't think this is for everybody, but for me, I don't want to be the sob story either. I don't want to be putting things out there saying like, look, I'm having a really tough day, because I don't want that to come across as if I'm like seeking sympathy, or I need someone to say, oh no, you're doing great. And I don't need that. I don't particularly need that. But I also want to be able to show that it's not a highlight reel all the time, because it's not. Life isn't a highlight reel. You know, we've all got things going on. Like we say, we've all got our hard days and we've all got tough stuff going on in our lives. And we don't have to share everything. But sometimes it's good to share the harder stuff, because it's more relatable and people can relate to you more. But I'm still working on that. You know, I try and show up as I am, as me all of the time. And it gets easier. It does get easier. I mean, even talking videos, you know, a lot of people are scared about speaking to the camera and doing stories and talking, and, you know, it's scary at first, but if you just keep doing them, it's like anything. It becomes easier and people get to know you. You get to make these friendships. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an amazing segue. Like, you almost knew what I was going to talk about. I want to talk about, because I know she's going to hear it, because I'm going to send it to her. So I want to talk about a human. I'm going to try not to get emotional. I want to talk about a human that has changed my life, and I know she's changed your life. And talk about that relationship with somebody that you haven't even met in person.
How wild is that?
but talk. I know, but talk about Annie Grassi. Talk about this human embodiment of like one of the best humans I've ever met in my entire life. Like, talk about what that means to have somebody like that in your corner.
Yeah, Annie's just a fabulous, fabulous person. Initially connected over golf. Her husband's a professional, you know, works in the industry like my husband. We had lots in common in that sense. And yeah, followed her story, just watched her every day showing up. At the time when I first started following Annie on Instagram, she was traveling a lot with Todd, her husband, and she was doing these workouts in the gym, and she was showing how like she could take them anywhere and all the rest of it. And that's how we kind of connected, and obviously eventually signed up to the community that she runs. But yeah, is quite the best friend I didn't know was missing, if you like. Which is crazy when you think we've never met in person. Yeah, I don't know. I can't quite put into words what she's done for me and my family, being the other side of the world.
The only thing I can equate it to, right, is that I have a podcast or I have a forum. Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
What did it for me was when, like you said, and I'll relate it to your story, the stopping the drinking was for me. Like, it was the thing that I needed that I didn't know I needed. Okay. Like, because in essence, you're living in your own shit and it doesn't seem that bad, right? And so I didn't really tell a lot of people, like, at first. Like, I kind of just did it on my own. Well, after I got like 5 months in, 6 months in, I got a text message from a guy I used to work with in the music business. And he said to me, like, I just want you to know, like, I'm having a baby and I've been sober 3 months because of you. And I'm like, what? We haven't even spoken 2 years. What the fuck? What are you talking about? And he goes, well, I've been following you on Instagram. I haven't said anything. And I realized that if your dumbass could do it, like, I sure as hell could do it. And so I was like, okay, well, hold on 1 second. I was like, you don't inspire people and you don't be an example for people by telling them what they need to do. You do that by showing them, by living your life, right? And that's when it all flipped for me. And so anytime I get out in my head about my content or the podcast, I go, if one person hears this message 3 years from now, because what people don't understand is when I coach people, right? You say I'm coaching said one-on-one person. I'm coaching for your kids, for your spouse, for your brother, for your sister, because when you're elevated in who you are as a person, it's going to radiate in every aspect of your life and will has tentacles to what I call the ripple effect of impact. And that one person, I tell this story. It's on my first podcast. I haven't shared it often, but my coach, who lives in Costa Rica, had a huge cocaine problem for many years, and he asked God to kill him. He literally asked God. He said, "I cannot." He was having a daughter, like he was like, "I'm done. Like I can't." He's talked about it all the time. He said, "I'm done." He said, and I don't know the 100% of the story, but at that moment, he called a guy that he had spoke to 6 months beforehand, and the guy answered the phone like this: "I've been waiting for your call." And he's like, "What?" And he goes, "There's a meeting down the street an hour from now. Be there." So he goes in. His daughter gets born the next day. He'd never touched it again. My coach has a podcast that's got 1 million downloads. He's helped north of thousands and thousands of people get sober, and me, and so on. And I said to him, the power of that one guy helping you and your daughter, which is the gift, being born, has saved millions of lives.
I love stuff like that. I love that.
We in the moment might not see the ultimate value of said situation, but the ripple effects of positivity and you getting better can change multiple people's lives.
Yeah. It's crazy to think, isn't it?
Yeah, and your community that y'all are creating is the Beachbody community that y'all are in, Team Evolve, is one of the most positive, fun groups. By the way, their meme game is on fire. They are the best memers that exist, if that's even a thing in this world. But I literally love this because let's be honest, women can be nasty as fuck. Like you said, you have an inner mean mother. Like, so it's amazing to be surrounded by a group that is lifting you up instead of tearing you down.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. And it's funny when you're talking about that, because when you're living in it, you don't think you're impacting anybody, do you? Because you're so focused on what you're doing and trying to better what your situation is that you don't realize who's watching from the sidelines, I guess.
Watching from the sidelines and not commenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it matters. So if people want to find out or follow you on Instagram, how do they do that?
Is this my shameless plug?
This is your shameless plug.
So I'm at ParPutPenny.
Say it one more time.
ParPutPenny, as in put for par on the golf course. Penny.
Guys,
That's
she's
me.
hilarious. Follow. You probably get some cool TikTok videos. She does a lot of impressions. But listen, I want to tell you, so it's recorded, that you, young lady, inspire me every day because you are a ray of sunshine, and it's an honor, and I can't wait to meet you in person so we can just laugh for 12 hours straight.
Appreciate that, Austin. Thank you. And so are you to me, and I cannot wait for that day.
Perfect. I'm still going to beat you in golf, though, for sure.
Oh, no. I'll take the money. Don't worry about that.
I love it. Guys, if you like this episode, make sure you send it out to your friends, guys, and we really appreciate y'all for listening.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.